What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, I cannot believe that I own this book now. Definitely did not expect this one. A huge new keeper book for me. I also have a bunch of other books that I picked up in this big box here. So let's go through these books. I've got one book in here I'm going to be giving away as well. So let's check these out. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. And like I said in the intro, I've got a giveaway that I'm going to be doing as part of this video as well. It is inside this box, so we'll go over the details on that when we get to it. But you are going to have left a comment and like the video and subscribe and all that, but I'll have some extra little details with it. But again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Alright, so before we go through these books, I've got to talk about the sponsor of this video, Fanalytics. If you're a follower of my YouTube and Instagram channels, you know that having accurate and comprehensive data to make my comic buying, selling, and investing decisions is extremely important to me. Fanalytics has exciting plans for the future to provide the most accurate and up-to-date sales data as well as predictive models to help collectors make the best decisions with their hard-earned money. Keep an eye on my YouTube and Instagram channels for more announcements and dedicated content in the future, so make sure to subscribe to their Instagram for future announcements and click the link in their profile to register for beta access. The link to their Instagram is in the description of this video. All right, we are back, so now let's get into these books. These books I picked up recently from an Instagram claim sale. 14 raw books, one graded book. The one graded book is the new keeper book for me. And I picked these up from Flip Mode Comics. I've definitely talked about them before on this channel. They're actually the ones that I bought that magazine collection from, the Vampirella magazine collection, that I've been getting the books back recently from CGC. I've bought a number of books from them in the past as well, and Mickey, Drew, and I, when we did our live streams covering the Comic Connect auction that happened maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that, that was a big part of that was that their collection of books that they had picked up called the Bobby Blue collection, it was a collection they had bought, was in that sale. There were a bunch of really cool books in there and everything, and we wanted to cover that auction. They actually have another, I think they said 400 books coming up in their next November Comic Connect auction. So a lot more books that are coming out of that one. But let's get to these. So this is the box. I had already opened it because I wanted to get the graded book out. I'm going to show that one at the end. I already opened it because I wanted to make sure I just checked that book because it's a new keeper book for me. Really pricey book for me to pick up. And so I haven't looked at the raw books yet. So we're going to get those ones out. Now, two of them were actually like inside the packaging with the slab. So I do have two of those that are out right now. And I'll show those. Then the other, what would it be? I think like 12 books are in here, kind of wrapped up in some bubble wrap. So the first one, I've had this book graded a few times. I've never had a raw copy before. This is Raphael #1. So this is the first appearance of Casey Jones. You can see that it's actually still in this larger format size. So the first 4 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as Raphael #1, were all this larger format, meaning that if you get them graded, you have to have them put in the magazine size slab. They won't fit in the standard slab. They need to be put in these like magazine size bags and boards. But I've always really liked this cover. It's a cool, well, actually, this one isn't a wraparound cover. I'll show the back on this one. It's not a wraparound cover. It just has a different set of art on the back. But the back cover looks great too. Let's see, show that back cover. So here's that back cover. So you can see it's got Casey Jones and Raphael jumping down. You know, just maybe some bad guys on the street that they're jumping down. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice copy. I think they had it as like an 8.5. There are there's some spine ticks, that kind of thing. But in general, really nice looking copy of this book. I have not decided yet. Let's look at the back. I haven't had a chance to look at the back yet. So yeah, you can see it's got a crunch up here. But a lot of that would press out. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to get this graded or not. I might not. This is definitely one of those books that during the comic boom, this book went absolutely nuts. Like absolutely nuts. And a big part of that, I think, was that it didn't have a ton of value at first, because it wasn't a book that people were paying a lot of money for. And then with like the comic boom, everything spiked, and that book actually has quite a large print run. I don't remember exactly what it is. It was something like 50,000. And so what I think happened is when the prices spiked, people just had a lot of them raw, stacks of them raw, and sent them all in. And so then as those started coming back, people were selling them, and it just caused the prices to correct back down a lot. It's still a really cool book. First appearance of a great character, a big character in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, but definitely has come down from those comic boom prices. Now the next one here, this one is one that you might not be familiar with, but this is Thunda #1. And so what this is this is actually a Frank Frazetta comic that was written, and the cover was done by him, and I believe the interior was also done by him. All done by Frank Frazetta. And so I picked this one up. They had this as like between a 0.5 and a 1. I think the spine is like completely split. You can see it's missing some, some stuff up there, but I believe they said it was complete. So, I mean, at least it's a complete copy. Very rare book, not a book that you see very often. And, Frank Frazetta has been a pretty hot artist, especially as of late. And so I decided to pick this one up. It was the right price for the grade, so I picked that one up. All right, so now onto these. So just want to be a little careful. Just don't want to accidentally nick a book or anything. So get the tape off, and then we will go over these. And like I said, when I get to it, one of these books I'm going to be giving away as part of this video. It's part of the reason that I bought it. I thought it would be a fun book to give away. Pretty cool key. So, all right. So let's start getting into these. All right, this first one. This is an interesting one because in another live, it's like a book that I hadn't really seen pop up for sale in live sales before. And then in another live sale, after I bought this, like a few days later, I ended up buying 2 more copies. And it's not like it's a really common book, but I now own 3 copies of this. This is World's Finest #113. And it is the first meeting of Batmite, who is this character, and Mr. Mxyzptlk, who is this character, which are both these like super powered beings from another dimension that are kind of like hassles to both Batman and Superman respectively. And so you've got them on the cover. Like I said, I think it's the first time that they ever meet. And I think they had this one as like a 3.5 or something. It looks really nice though. I'll take a look at the back and everything afterwards, but it's got some pretty big printer creases. You've got these here. And if you're wondering what printer creases are, basically it's when the paper went through the rollers. They kind of like pinched the paper together. And you get these pretty unique looking lines. That's how you can generally tell that it's a printer crease and not another type of crease. They're kind of like more of a jagged type shape, and that they don't break color. Like the ink is printed over them, and so you don't really have a color break. But yeah, I mean, it's a really solid presenting copy. Maybe there's something going on the back. Looks nicer than a 3.5. It definitely has like a crease down here and a little, just like folded piece. And there's some tanning that you can see, but a very solid presenting copy of this book. So World's Finest #113. Then we got 2 books here. This one I must have come as I think I bought both of these at once. It was like a package deal that they had. I can't remember if this was a collection they had bought, or if this was a collection that they had. They also do consignments, so sometimes people will send them books, or they'll make a deal with someone and they have a collection they want to sell, and they'll sell it for them on their channel. But yeah, 2 pretty cool Amazing Spider-Man keys with this one, Silver Age Books. So the first one here is Amazing Spider-Man #39, which is the first John Romita cover in the Amazing Spider-Man title. His first work on Spider-Man is Daredevil, it's been a little while, Daredevil 16, I think. It's Daredevil 16. But this is the first time that he draws Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man title. So issue number 39. And then we have issue number 40, which is, I think, the reveal of Norman Osborn as Green Goblin. I believe that's what this one is. But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man #40. Both of these had subscription creases. I think they said a lot of this collection had sub creases. The person that it was their original collection, I believe, and that person was part of that subscription process where Marvel, you subscribe to these Marvel comics, they'd mail them to you. Basically, they'd put them in an envelope and they would fold them in the middle, and so you end up with these creases down the middle. And so when you have that, the grade impact is dependent on how severe the crease is. I think the highest I've ever seen might be a 6.5. I think that's the highest I've ever seen. And that's when they generally like aren't breaking color, but they've broken fiber on the paper, so you can still tell it's there. But one like this, where it's breaking color like that, is probably the top end is more like a 4.5. You have to look at the rest of the book too. There are other things to consider, but 4.5, maybe a 5. And then, like I showed, this one was very similar. It had that same sub crease up the middle. So, I mean, it's kind of an interesting flaw because it's like a comic history type flaw. It's a way that they used to send them out. It's not something generally that the person damaged the book on purpose like that. Then, kind of to go along with that, I also picked up this one, Amazing Spider-Man number 37, which is the first appearance of Norman Osborn. Not as great of a cover. I mean, it's still a decent cover. I like this part, the lower part. The face is a little weird, kind of in the middle, but I do like kind of like the flames and everything on this one. But I think did this one have a sub crease as well? Yeah, it does. It's just a little harder to see. So it's got, let's see if we can get it to show. So there is a sub crease here. It's just kind of like in the white. Yeah, it's just a little harder to see. This one, it's the type where it's gonna hide a little bit better. It didn't break color. It's there. It might be just kind of difficult. You can see it maybe a little bit up there. And that's really what you want to look at when you're talking about those sub creases. Sometimes they're going to have a little more impact on a grid, and it's just going to be dependent on how much, the color break is on the cover and everything. Now, I mean, he definitely read these books. I mean, that's what they were supposed to do. So definitely read these books. You can see it's got general kind of like edge wear and all of that as well. But still, I always like getting Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I also picked up a few early Silver Age Wonder Woman books on this sale. Here's the first one. This is Wonder Woman number 99. Pretty great cover. I mean, I don't remember what they had the grade as on this one. Let's see. They had it as a 2.5. And I mean, still, these are in Mylar. Mylar always makes things look a little, nicer, but, it's got spine wear. I'd say the main things, spine wear, but colors are really bright. Great looking cover for this one. So Wonder Woman number 99. Then the kind of like the big Silver Age Wonder Woman book that I picked up was this one. This is Wonder Woman number 98. Now, I have never owned this book before. This is considered the first Silver Age appearance of Wonder Woman. And so if you ever see this one where you've got two Wonder Womans battling on a log and you wonder, why is that book so expensive? Because you'll see it on eBay occasionally, and it's a pretty pricey book, and it's because it is considered the first Silver Age appearance of Wonder Woman. And it's a nice presenting copy, but there's some staining. This book, I feel like this book is never in high grade. I never see this book in high grade. It's always kind of down in the 2 to 3 range. And they had this one, I believe, as like a 2.5. Yeah, they had this one as a 2.5. It definitely presents above its grade. It looks nice, but you can see it's got this water stain, and I think they said it went through the entire book, like through to the back cover. Looks like there's like, just a little bit of like tanning, not tanning, but a dust shadow on the bottom as well. But this is a pretty nice presenting copy. I have seen a lot of these sell over time, and they're usually extremely beat up. And this one, it's not really missing any pieces out of the front. It's a good looking book. So cool one to pick up that I never had before. This next one, I have owned this one a few times. This book got really hot for a little while. Not so much anymore, but it's an early Silver Age Flash key. And this is Flash number 117. First appearance of Captain Boomerang. And yeah, got Captain Boomerang on the cover there, throwing boomerangs at Flash. Flash's villains are always kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of like jokey type villains. Not nearly like they don't feel as threatening as some of the other characters' villains. He's throwing boomerangs at them. But yeah, a decent presenting copy. It's got really great colors. I think that was one of the pretty consistent things with this collection, is that they were lower grade. I think on average they said most of the books in it were like in the 3 to 4 range. but the colors were great. So he kept them out of the sun, you know, he kept them in at least conditions that kept the colors presenting well, but they have lots of flaws that happen when books are being read. You know, creases and spine wear and all that kind of thing. But yeah, first appearance of Captain Boomerang. Right now, the next one. This one has, I mean, it's kind of like a cool little fact about it. It's not something that really adds a lot of value or anything to the book, but this is the last 10-cent issue of Superman. So this is Superman number 149, and yeah, just kind of last 10-cent issue. Again, not a super high grade. I think, yeah, they had it as a 3.5. And I mean, they look nice. I mean, they are solid presenting copies. I'll have to check this one out. I mean, this one does look really nice. I wonder if there's maybe a detached staple or something like that. But this is a really nice looking 3.5, if it is in fact a 3.5. And looks better than that. I'll have to take a look at the back. Again, there's something that could be stains that you can't see. There could be creasing on the back or pieces out of the back, that kind of thing. But yeah, great looking copy of this book. All right, then another Wonder Woman. I had picked up 3 Wonder Woman books. This one, I like getting books like this just because of their, like, the significance of hitting that milestone. And this was Wonder Woman number 100. And so from them, I bought issues 98, 99, and 100. They had a few others that they had brought up for sale as well. But yeah, I just happened to pick up those 3 issues. And again, yeah, they had this one as a 2.5 to a 3. And again, colors are great. You can see there's some kind of like rippling and things like that to the cover, and just that general wear to the cover. But overall, solid presenting copy, and just that cool milestone issue, you know, the 100th issue in the run. All right, so the giveaway is actually going to be the second to last book in this pile. I picked this one up just because it was a good price, and it was just an early Flash book. This is Flash number 120. I think this is the first team up of Flash and Kid Flash. I believe that's what this one is. I mean, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think that's what this one is. But yeah, Flash 120 was just a, you know, affordable book and early Silver Age Flash, and so I decided to pick that one up. Now, this next one. This is the book that I'm doing for the giveaway. I just thought that this would be a fun book to give away. It is a extremely recognizable book, key Spider-Man book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 238. It's a newsstand edition. Now, it is a lower grade copy. It is missing the tattoos. That is what everyone will always ask. Like, does it have the tattoos? Which were, it's like a little insert that was inside of this issue. And the cover is detached. But still presents really well. And if you're looking to get a first appearance of the Hobgoblin, and you want that, you know, that like a filler book in your run until you can get a higher grade copy or something like that, I still think this is a pretty cool book. So Amazing Spider-Man number 238. You want a chance to win this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit that notification bell, all that kind of stuff, and leave a comment with hashtag Spider-Man, and I will then ship this book out to you know, the person whose comment that I select from from all the comments in this video. So yeah, first appearance of the Hobgoblin, Amazing Spider-Man number 238, newsstand, but it is missing, you know, it is missing the tattoos, but still, that's pretty cool. All right, so last raw book, and then we're gonna get to that graded book that I picked up, my new keeper book. Last one here. I've had this book, I think, one other time, and I mean, let's see, what did they have this one as? Let's see here. They had this one as a 4 to a 4.5, because I mean, yeah, it looks pretty nice. Definitely one that I'll take a close look at. This would be one that I might decide to grade. This is Brave and the Bold number 34. This is the first Silver Age appearance of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And man, like, I've seen this book come up a number of times, and I mean, the copy that I had really bright colors. This one, I mean, these colors, it is really something that you notice. Like, you can tell, like, when a book has, you know, just like a really good print strike or color strike, and the person didn't leave them out in the sun or anything like that, or they weren't like moving around, rubbing up against one another and, you know, causing some color fade, because like colors just pop on this copy. That looks really, really nice. Now you can see a crease up here, but I'm going to take this one out because, yeah, I mean, they had it as a 4 to a 4.5. It looks really nice. I know some of these had water damage, so it's possible that that's what's going on with this one too. Let's take a look at the back. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice book. So you can see like there's some damage in that upper corner there. There's a little wear on the cover, but not bad. Back cover has a sun shadow. You can see that dust shadow there, or sun shadow, basically where you had, books that were probably stacked on one another, and you get that kind of like that tanning line. And then there's like a little chipping onto the bottom edge down there. But overall, really nice presenting copy. Would definitely benefit from a press. There's a little tear, let's see, down in the corner, or not corner, but on the edge right here. But yeah, really solid presenting copy. I mean, with books like this, a lot of times like the color strike, it makes a difference. I mean, when I talk about kind of like what to me is the most important for the value of a book, I mean, obviously the first thing is just what the book is. What is that book actually known for? That's number one. Number two is the grade. And then for me, number three is the presentation. How strongly does that book present, especially for the grade? Does it have a great color strike? Does it have a bunch of like obvious big flaws on the front cover, or are they on the back cover? Are there big pieces missing out of it? That kind of thing. But this one, I mean, presents really, really well. For me, the fourth one on the list there is page quality. I understand page quality can matter. It really can depend on the era, how much it matters or not. But to me, that's always the bottom of the list. I mean, it's the book, then the grade, then color strike, then page quality. That's generally how I assess these books. And man, that is a nice presenting copy for the 4 to 4.5 grade that they had it as. So, all right. Now for the new book that I have added to my keeper list that I picked up. Definitely not a book that I was expecting to get. I had actually kind of decided that it wasn't a book I wanted to really go after. And I've talked about this on the channel before, this book specifically. And part of it is because there's someone else that has a whole bunch of copies of them. And it just kind of deterred me from it a little bit. But this is an exceptional situation because it is such a high grade copy of this book. And so that kind of threw all that out the window for me. It was kind of a unique situation how I ended up with it. And I'll talk about that after I show the book. But I was talking about the Bobby Blue collection that we had done the kind of like the live streams for Comic Connect. And one of the books that was part of that Bobby Blue collection was this one, which is Chamber of Chills, number 19, 7.5. You can see on the top there from the Bobby Blue collection. And this is an incredible, incredible copy of this book. I mean, it's just like, sharp edges, sharp corners, great book. There's like a little tanning on the back. That's probably the biggest deterrent, on the grade for this book, which with a book that is a black front cover, I mean, that is a great type of flaw to have because you're not going to see any of that tanning on the front cover with this book. And so, I mean, it is one of the most recognizable pre-code horror covers. It's been homaged a number of times. Even recently, you'll see homages that are done with like Archie comics and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, a 7.5, Chamber of Chills, number 19. Just an incredible book. So I was very happy to get an opportunity to pick this one up. And so the reason that happened was Felipe and Jamie, who are the two like owners of Flipmode Comics, they had each purchased a book from that sale. There, a book that they had wanted from that sale. And Felipe had just sold his. Like, he had decided he wanted to sell his. He had wanted Young Allies number 1, and he ended up winning a different issue from the run, I think number 4. And so he just decided he wanted to let it go. And so they had been talking about the book that Jamie had picked up, which was the Chamber of Chills, number 19. And so so Jamie kind of like, he leaves the screen, and he comes back and he's holding this book, and he put it on the stand, and it was just kind of like just showing it off. And then Felipe was like over here, and he's like, he just pulls a sticky note out and he writes a price on it and slaps the price on it. It was just kind of like a joke, and I just claimed it. I wrote claim in the price, and then they were just talking because there's a delay. There's like a lag of like 30 seconds, and they're talking and that kind of thing. And all of a sudden Jamie sees the claim, you know, and he's like, are you serious, Ryan? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, if you're selling it, I will, you know, I'll take it. And so, you know, he thought about it for a little bit, you know, he hugged the book a few times, that kind of thing. And then he said, you know, he's like, yeah, I'll sell it to you. And so ended up, you know, picking up this book. And I mean, it was just timing worked out very well for me with that, because I had, if you've seen some of my recent videos, I had sold one pretty big book, and then after that I also sold 2 other books that were pretty big, and so I had the funds available, and, you know, decided to pick this one up, and just, yeah, timing worked out well. I was surprised that Jamie decided to put it up for sale, and so I'm very happy to have picked up this book. So yeah, in terms of value, this is pretty solidly the new #1 on my keeper list. It's my favorite cover is still Startling Comics number 49, the Bender cover. That is still my favorite cover, but this one in terms of value is the #1 book now on my keeper list. So yeah, very happy to have added this book to the keeper list. Hope you enjoyed this video, saw some cool books, maybe some stuff you haven't seen before, like that Thunda #1, definitely not a book that comes up very often, and the 7.5 Chamber of Chills #19. Yeah, I gotta like dial back my keeper list purchases for a little bit after that one. But if you want a chance to win this book, Amazing Spider-Man #238, first appearance of the Hobgoblin, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment with #Spider-Man, and you will have a chance to win this book. If you'd like to see more videos like this, got more videos over here. Subscription button is right here, and I will see you in the next video.